Back on this thing, going to try to get the fuel filter put on it, give it a good clean. And the brakes don't work. And we're rolling away. Stop. There. Alright. Then I think we're going to try to blow some of the crud out of it, because there's so much gunk packed up on top of this fuel tank, it's ridiculous. And in there, because of the way the thing blows out, I'm not quite sure where that's coming from, because there should be a vacuum in here, so it shouldn't be blowing out of the top, but who knows. But now I got to figure out how to jack this thing up to the point where I can work on it, because this thing is heavy and narrow, so you can't really tip it on its side. So I think the best bet is to just jack the crap out of the back on that center axle, or on that support member down here, and just jack the back end up as high as possible and go from there. So that's what we're going to try to do. All right, well, there's our glued back together housing. There's the holes where she goes. So I think what we're going to try to do is get that put back in place, get the hoses hooked up to it, and get the filter on it, and then see if we can prime this thing. Should be able to. That's the pump it's been pulling through. Yeah. So we will see what we can do. Alright, she's all bolted up. A couple of half-inch bolts, a half-inch bolt and nuts. So now we're going to get a pan, because we're about to make a mess. I'm going to try to get some of that fuel into this filter to start with. And then get the lines cut back to where they need to be and see what we can do. Okay, so this is the line to the fuel pump. Less drama than I expected there. And this is the line from the tank. Okay. Interesting. Alright. Use a semi-clean finger to get that together. Get that baby. Do my hand tight. should do it. Now we got to figure out how to get these lines where they're supposed to go. Got a lot extra length on the external one. Okay. All right. So this guy is going to go here, which is fine, except you can't get to the clamp. That's wonderful. Aww. Well, I guess that answers that. But makes it easier to get to the clamp. So, the JB Weld did not hold at all. I think it's going to be zip tie special once this gets in place. Maybe I'll order a new one of these housings because they're not too expensive. Darn it. Pooh. Well, let's take those bolts out so I can use those for the zip ties. Back in a minute. Alright, well, we're back. Okay. I guess we'll just cut this to approximately the same length. Lose my $12 in diesel. Drip all over my arm. Let's see. Damn it. We can get this to go on here. Come on. There she goes. Okay. That worked. Now, snug up the clamp. These have to be pretty good because I don't want to be sucking any air if I can help it. Alright. Can't really see what I'm doing here. There it goes. Alright, let's see what we're going to do here. Alright. I think that's what we're going to do. Just like that. Get some ties of zip. Lay in the fuel. This ought to be entertaining. Yep, I think that's what killed this machine, is we had a fuel pump failure and they broke this off. Trying to diagnose it as a plugged fuel filter, but that's all right. We'll get it. Come here. Where are you? There you are. No, not quite long enough. Darn it. That's all right. We got more than one. I just want to try to keep it so the fuel filter itself is not really rubbing on anything. I want to cut a hole in it. Well, that's not great, but I think it will do for now. Cut the whole thing off, dummy. Alright. Yeah, it's less than ideal, but I think it'll work. That'll let us see if she'll prime anyway. Let's see what we got. Alright, what I think we're supposed to do here, looking at this system, I think this is a bleeder, this little 10mm guy. Yep, sure is. Pissing fuel all over already. I think we're supposed to do that. And then pump this until we prime that filter and get the fuel up to here. Perfect. Perfect. A little messy. There. All right, let's see if she starts. Wonderful. All right, now I think we're going to try to blow out some of this crud that is packed everywhere on this thing and see where we go from there. All right, so that made a mess, but conveniently this thing can clean up after itself. I've been noticing a leak on the ground where I park it. I think I found it. It's this main pressure hose coming off of the pump. And so that goes through that hole up there and catches a T in there, feeds the hydrostats, and then it also there's a return back from the hydrostats that has a T there that goes all the way back and feeds the fan motor. So at a minimum, I think I need to get one of these hoses made, because I'd hate to have that blow out with what I'm planning on doing with this thing. So, not a big deal for now. Let's see, I also got the seat mount thing reattached and the piston back on that. So, that's pretty good. Now I gotta get a little bit of a piece of pipe or something so I can blow out in here, because that's real deep and dark and dank and terrible, and it's actually denting the fuel tank. So we're gonna go see if I can find a piece of pipe. All right, well that made a disastrous mess and didn't really accomplish much, but I got a little bit of the dirt out. Hard to see down in there, but dug a little bit out. So one thing I noticed while I was poking around is this thing really needs a fan belt. and a belt, because it is really crispy. So we're going to see. I think all I got to do is get this little shroud off, and then the alternator is the tensioner, and then it can come up and around the fan, and that should be it. So we're going to try to get that fan belt off. That wasn't too bad, but I'm willing to bet that's never been off, because every one of the fasteners had 3 washers on it, one flat on each side and a lock nut and a lock washer, and I don't see those all going back on every time. So yeah, she's pretty crusty and not all that tight. Maybe that's why she's heating up a little bit, but she really isn't. She just gets to 195 and holds there, so that's good. But now I think that's probably a 12 or 13. We're gonna see if we can crack that loose and maybe pivot that in and see if we can get that thing off. Yeah, she might have seen better days. 2 14s to get the thing loose on the bottom, and then you pull that top bolt all the way out, and this little shroud, which, oh, is actually, that's kind of cool. It's pivoting on the bottom bolt. So that little shroud pivots out of the way, and then you can get it off. Pulleys look good. So we're going to go see if I can find a belt. Water pump sounds really good. Alternator's not making any dumb noises. So, yay! See if we can find a belt. Alright, got our venerable Gates 1370 on there. Fit pretty good, right in the middle. A little more snug than the other one. So I guess it's time to give it another little test. See how she does. See if this works. I should get rid of this thing for now. There. Close enough? All right. Sounds pretty nice. So clean up our mess. Yeah, it is leaking out of the top of the bin pretty bad in here. Gonna have to figure that out because that makes a hellacious mess. But otherwise, runs pretty good. Let's see if it picked up all that crap out of my gutters. Cough. Yeah, sure did. That's a lot better. It scuffed the edge a little bit, but it's riding low because I don't have any skirts on it yet. But yeah, that definitely vacuumed up the gutters. So that'll work. All right. Well, I guess I got a couple of air filters. Crap. Dust. Got a couple of air filters coming in for the back, so we can see if that's going to work. And then I got to figure out how to seal the top of the can a little bit better. And we're close. I may just have to get one hydraulic hose made, at least for now, and get some skirts on it. She's doing good. Talk to you all later. Take care.